Welcome to Albania. The land of the eagles, where nature, history, and culture blend together like a vivid living painting. Today, we will step into a journey to explore a small country that holds countless wonders. Albania is known as a land of majestic mountains, pristine coastlines, and ancient cities carrying stories of many centuries. This is where you can see eagles soaring above mountain peaks, feel the crystal clear sea brushing against golden sands, and stand before ancient fortresses still proudly overlooking UNESCO-listed towns. In this exploration, you will understand why Albania is called the land of the eagles. This is where mountain ranges rise sharply into the sky, where the Vjosa River, one of the last wild rivers in Europe, still flows freely through untouched landscapes. It is also where the 1,000-year-old Lake Ohrid preserves unique species rarely seen in the world. Not only remarkable for its nature, Albania also carries a distinct cultural identity, from its language to its unique everyday gestures. Coffee shops fill the streets, Cold War bunkers are transformed into museums or bars, and rare religious harmony creates a very different image of this country. Join me as we begin this journey exploring Albania, discovering a world waiting ahead of you. Before exploring, let's try a small question to see how much you remember about this place. Which mountain is considered the highest point of Albania? Albania Riviera. A picturesque road runs between the mountain slopes and the sea surface, revealing secluded coves, pale pebble beaches, and waters shifting from green to deep blue. The Albania Riviera is not a continuous coastal strip, but resembles a chain of small worlds. There is Durmi with its white houses, Himare lying between the sea and the hillside, Keparo stretching along the slope, and Ksamil facing Corfu. Among pine trees, olive groves, and the scent of wild thyme, the coastline alternates with untouched sections and quiet villages during off-season periods. Here, old wooden boats are still pulled ashore by hand. Tourism has grown, but still coexists with the memories of farmers. Beyond swimming, this place also offers fortresses, Ottoman remnants, traces of ancient Greece, and tranquility even in the summer months. Gjirokaster. Built from stone and carved along a mountainside, this place tells the story of the Ottoman era in Albania more clearly than any document. Slate roofs, Kula-style residential towers, and courtyards enclosed by thick walls all appear preserved in the flow of time. Walking through the streets, one encounters small shops, woodcraft artisans, and sellers of hand-woven blankets. Above the town, the fortress overlooks the Drino Valley with its imposing dark mass, positioned between the settlement and the Zagoria Mountains. It is one of the largest castles in the Balkans, containing stone galleries, old cannons, a political prison, and even an American airplane, a relic of communist propaganda. The view opens to rooftops, hills, and an enveloping silence. Beneath the vaulted chambers, an annual folk music festival is held, gathering choirs and instruments from many regions. Berat, known as the City of Countless Windows, sits on a hill overlooking the Osum River. This is a rare place in the Balkans where mosques and Byzantine churches have coexisted for centuries. The two neighborhoods of Mangalem and Gorica face each other across the banks, connected by an Ottoman bridge built from Roman stone. Inside the old citadel, families still live in houses dating back to the 13th century, just as they did long ago. This district has many small shops where locals craft items from olive wood and embroidered fabrics. In contrast, the path along the fortress walls opens to views of the valley and the surrounding mountains. The rich history of Berat is reflected through ancient monuments and historical sites preserved over time. Today, it is one of Albania's most notable tourist destinations and a proud symbol of the nation's cultural heritage. Ksamil. Located on the southern coast of Albania and looking directly toward Corfu, Ksamil is a coastal village known for its striking beauty. This stretch of land is defined by a chain of pale sandy beaches, along with bars and restaurants lining the Ionian shoreline, a place that attracts large numbers of visitors during the summer. Just a few hundred meters from the coast, about 1,000 feet, lie 4 small uninhabited islands. Visitors can reach them by swimming, taking a boat, or using pedal boats. The fine, very light sand creates a clear contrast with the transparent water, forming a landscape considered one of the most iconic images of the entire Albanian coastline. When the tourist season comes to an end, beach clubs close and crowds diminish, and Ksamil reveals its simple, authentic character. At this time, seaside vegetable gardens and fishermen working with their nets become the core essence of local life. It is the combination of crystal clear waters, untouched small islands, and the peaceful rhythm of the low season that has allowed Ksamil to maintain its unique charm over the years. If you enjoy this journey of exploration, don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and turn on notifications to join us in the next destinations. Theth National Park. After many hours crossing valleys carved by glaciers, one finally reaches a place that feels like a secluded refuge, lying between the peaks of the Albanian Alps. Hidden deep within the narrow valley is a small village, surrounded by sharp mountains, dense oak forests, and fast-flowing streams. Inside the park, visitors can find stone towers once used as self-defense structures during family conflicts. Trails lead to waterfalls, turquoise-colored springs, and a small wooden church standing prominently in the fields. Life here moves slowly, relying on agriculture, livestock raising, and the genuine hospitality of mountain residents. This gives the entire area a simple yet profound character. Butrint National Archaeological Park. Situated among brackish lagoons and dense reed beds, Butrint preserves an archaeological complex that has passed through multiple eras and civilizations. This area was once a Greek colony, later became a Roman city, and eventually served as a center of the Byzantine period. The remnants here still show clear traces of the past, a theater carved directly into rock, ancient baths, a baptistry, and even an open-air basilica. On the headland jutting into the lake stands the Venetian castle, now housing a small museum with panoramic views over the tranquil water. In Butrint, water appears everywhere. Lake Butrint connects to the sea through a natural channel, surrounded by thick vegetation that shelters many species of water birds and turtles. This is a diverse ecosystem intertwined with a long historical legacy. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, this archaeological location remains untouched by mass tourism. Its tranquility and authenticity make Butrint one of the most remarkable archaeological destinations in Albania. Shkoder. As one of the oldest urban centers in the Balkans, this place was formed at the meeting point of the Buna, Drin, and Kiri rivers before they flow into the Adriatic Sea. For many centuries, this land served as a gateway between Central Europe and the Ottoman world, developing a strong identity shaped by religious diversity, lively markets, and local traditions that still persist today. The Central District harmoniously combines 19th century architecture, small courtyards hidden behind old walls, riverside cafes, and the slow daily rhythm of its residents. However, to truly feel the spirit of this land, one must walk up the hill above. There stands Rozafa Castle, firmly rooted in natural rock as if it rose from the stone itself. Its massive walls carry the legend of a woman sacrificed within the foundations so the fortress would never collapse. From the heights of the old stronghold, the view expands to encompass the city, the lake, and the northern mountain ranges. Enduring struggles among the Illyrians, the Venetians, and the Ottomans, the fortress remains a meeting point between history and landscape, continuing to watch over the city below through time. Osum Canyon. In the central regions of Albania, the Osum River has carved the terrain and formed a canyon stretching more than 20 kilometers, equivalent to about 12 miles. On both sides stand vertical cliffs, some reaching up to 100 meters, or nearly 330 feet, narrowing into a slender channel between rock walls where the river is the only passageway. In spring, the water level rises, allowing rafting through rock basins, small caves, and waterfalls descending from above. Surrounding the area are plateaus, olive groves, and scattered villages dotting the landscape. However, the closest and most vivid sensation appears at the bottom of the valley. Moss-covered stones lie near the water's edge, and the gentle sound of flowing water echoes with each step, creating an atmosphere both quiet and full of life. Neither noisy nor crowded, Osum Canyon carries the pristine beauty and depth of a landscape patiently sculpted by the river over thousands of years. Valbona Valley. Amid the Albanian Alps, a wide valley opens between jagged peaks, dense oak forests, and high-altitude meadows. Summer brings shades of green covering the entire landscape, while autumn paints the area in bright reds and yellows. The main village lies isolated among grass fields and rustic stone houses, where life still follows the mountain rhythm, herding livestock, gathering bundles of hay, and welcoming guests with warm bread and traditional yogurt. The pace here preserves the original spirit of the highland community. Clearly marked trails lead visitors to the pass toward Theth, crossing forests, rock fragments, and streams flowing along the mountain base. This is also part of a protected area, home to eagles, lynxes, and even wolves, reflecting the precious biodiversity of the Albanian Alps. Sarande. Situated in a bay shaped like an open natural amphitheater, this area offers a wide view directly toward the island of Corfu from a large and radiant bay. Along the waterfront stand rows of tall palm trees, seaside restaurants, and frequent ferry routes that create a constant rhythm of movement. From a modest fishing village, this place has developed into one of Albania's most important tourist destinations. Just a few steps away from the center, visitors can find valuable ancient remains, the foundations of the old city of Onchesmos, traces of a Jewish synagogue, and Byzantine mosaics. These ruins reflect the layers of civilizations that once passed through this land. Behind the city, hills covered with olive trees and Mediterranean shrubs create a lush backdrop contrasting with the sea in front. Not far from the center lies Kruje Bay, one of the most untouched and secluded beaches of the entire Riviera. This place can only be reached by boat or by a long trail, which helps preserve its tranquility and natural beauty. You have just explored a brilliant seaside city rich in historical layers. Now let's try a small question to see what you still remember about this destination. Sarande is a coastal city located beside a large bay, and from here visitors can look directly toward which island on the opposite side. Kruje. On the slopes of Sari Saltiku Mountain, an ancient settlement overlooks the entire Albanian plain, where traditional rhythms of life remain present in every small corner. This historic area is surrounded by stone and wooden paths leading into the old bazaar, winding between craft shops selling hand-woven carpets and quiet cafes hidden beneath low eaves. Above, the old fortress houses the museum dedicated to Skanderbeg, Albania's national hero. set within ancient stone walls. This space preserves stories of the period resisting Ottoman expansion. From the stronghold, the view opens widely toward the sea and the plains below. Amid rough stones and medieval architecture, one can still feel the echoes of resilience from the past, blended with the serenity of a place that has never lost its true authenticity. The fusion of history, culture, and landscape gives Kruje a distinct place in any journey through Albania. Komani Lake. Amid the northern mountain ranges, a freshwater body stretches along a narrow valley, formed by the dam on the Butrint River. The landscape is marked by vertical limestone walls plunging directly into the water, creating passages so narrow they seem hand-carved. The lake's shores have almost no permanent residents. Only a few shepherds, faint paths hidden along the slopes, and a handful of boats tied to small stone ledges can be found. The atmosphere feels isolated, yet remains connected to the everyday life of the surrounding communities. This place resembles a natural corridor linking the north with the most untouched central regions of Albania. The combination of sheer rock walls, deep still water, and the absence of human presence creates one of the country's most distinctive landscapes. With a sense of both remoteness and familiarity, Komani Lake becomes an essential journey for anyone wishing to experience the primal beauty of Albania's mountain regions. Himare. Rows of white-painted houses sit among olive trees and quiet paths that gently lead down to the shoreline, creating a characteristic scene of southern Albania's coastal region. This settlement faces the Ionian Sea through a calm bay, shielded by small headlands and narrow river mouths. In the lower part near the water lies the bathing area, where small taverns and family guest houses are concentrated. Higher up, among slopes covered in olive trees, is the old village with stone houses oriented toward the ancient fortress above. It is not difficult to hear Greek spoken on the streets, reflecting a complex history shaped by shifting borders and centuries of movement. The surrounding area features many open beaches such as Livadi, interspersed with small secluded coves accessible only on foot. The blend of the old village, calm sea, and Mediterranean landscape makes this coastline a place rich in historical depth and rustic beauty. Tirana, a dynamic city constantly in transformation, where chaos, movement, and unfinished elements become its distinctive identity. The urban space shifts each year, with modern skyscrapers rising among old Italian buildings, makeshift markets standing beside tree-lined boulevards, and entire neighborhoods refreshed by street art and the energy of nightlife. At the center lies Skanderbeg Square, the symbolic focal point of the city. One side holds the Ottoman-era mosque, while the opposite side features the History Museum and the former party headquarters. However, the true essence of the city is felt more clearly once you step away from the square. The Bloku district, once restricted to the public, has now become one of the liveliest areas, filled with cafes, restaurants, and a youthful atmosphere. Markets scattered across the city bring an intimate local rhythm, while parks and green spaces allow life to slow down, offering walking paths, cycling routes, and peaceful breaks within the vast urban fabric. Llogara Pass. Along the southwestern coastline of Albania, a major mountain pass creates a natural separation between two worlds. One side is the long stretch of shoreline, and the other is the inland mountain system. The road through the pass curves through pine forests, swaying constantly in the wind, revealing vistas that open toward the sea. The winding route gradually climbs in elevation, passing through low clouds and nearly vertical cliffs until it reaches around 1,000 meters, equivalent to more than 3,280 feet. From this point, the view extends across the Albania Riviera, where Greek islands appear faintly on the horizon and the rugged coastline lies below. The pass lies within a national park, serving as a habitat for birds of prey, deer, and rare endemic pine species. In summer, its cool climate attracts hikers and shepherds seeking relief on the high plateau. In contrast, winter brings a quiet atmosphere filled with mist and cold winds, causing the entire area to fall into absolute silence. Pogradec. Along the shores of Lake Ohrid, near the border with North Macedonia, an urban area has developed a harmonious rhythm between water and mountains. The lakeside space is simple, with sparse rows of pine trees and boats gently moored on the surface. The clear and cold water plays an essential role in protecting a unique ecosystem, including the rare Koran trout, an indispensable ingredient in the local cuisine. This is a special natural habitat that has existed for thousands of years. Behind the water's edge, residential areas expand with local markets, family guest houses, and rows of houses facing the lake. The slow and gentle pace of life gives the whole area its characteristic sense of harmony. A few kilometers from the center lies the Dryland Springs, where slow-flowing channels wind through greenery, flocks of swans, and small cafes nestled among the cool vegetation. This is a resting spot that brings a sense of tranquility and forms an important part of the Pogradec landscape. Dermi. Lying between the mountain range and the Ionian Sea, this settlement carries the character of a crossroads between two worlds. The upper area is the ancient part, consisting of stone-paved alleys, Byzantine churches, and terraces overlooking the wide valley. Below is the bathing area stretching along bright pebble shores and crystal clear water. The upper village remains quiet, where many long-established families live and where old houses are gradually being restored. In contrast, the seaside zone becomes lively in summer, filled with small bars, taverns, and facilities serving visitors along the water's edge. Just a few minutes walk away from the crowded area, tranquility returns. Narrow paths weave through rows of olive trees, carrying the scent of wild thyme, leading to a coastline divided into small hidden coves. These places are only steps apart, yet create separate spaces that bring a peaceful feeling. The blend of mountain scenery, the old village, and clear blue waters makes Durmi one of the most beautiful meeting points along the Albania Riviera. Gjipe Beach and Canyon. A road leads into a deserted area and then ends abruptly, and from that point, one must continue on foot along a dusty path, weaving between Mediterranean shrubs and the faint scent of sea salt. As you move farther, Gjipe Beach suddenly appears, emerging as a crescent of sand and pebbles lying between two towering cliffs. Right behind the beach is the entrance to a narrow, shaded canyon carved by water over thousands of years. Those who venture deeper walk between rock fissures, natural arches, and vegetation growing from vertical cracks. This place is completely isolated from urban noise, no roads, no artificial sounds, only footsteps, the flapping of birds' wings, and the wind brushing against the cliff walls. The near-absolute silence makes the landscape feel even more powerful and untouched. Permet. Amid the lush green hills of southern Albania, a town stretches along the Vjosa River, the last river in Europe that still maintains its natural flow, undiverted by dams or any blocking structures. This free-flowing water weaves through gorges and spills into waterfalls, creating a landscape that is both wild and powerful. The town center preserves a calm atmosphere, with tree-shaded squares, low facades, and a rhythm of life carrying the spirit of the countryside. Everything here moves slowly, giving the area the characteristic sense of tranquility found in mountain regions. Just outside the town, the Ottoman Katiu Bridge spans the river, leading toward the natural Benje hot springs. Warm pools rise from the rock, surrounded by a landscape interwoven with stone, steam, and an air of relaxation. The harmony between pristine nature, the wild river, and the simplicity of local life makes Perme a stop rich in the natural beauty of southern Albania. Kjiparo. On a mountainside overlooking the sea, a village is divided into two distinct parts, telling the story of two different eras of the same place. The upper area is the ancient section, once abandoned for decades but now gradually coming back to life. Stone houses are being restored, gardens revived, and old paths rediscovered, carrying the imprint of a community reconnecting with its heritage. From above, the cluster of stone houses stretches toward the sea and the curving coastline of the Albania Riviera, creating a scene both serene and magnificent. In contrast, the lower section carries a more modern vitality. In the area near the shore, daily life relies heavily on tourism. Small hotels, restaurants facing the beach, and mini docks for fishing boats create a steady rhythm of activity during the summer. All of these elements blend into a contrasting yet harmonious picture between past and present. Shkoder Lake. At the foot of the Albanian Alps, a wide lake stretches gently along the border between Albania and Montenegro, located in an area filled with reed beds, gentle hills, and reflections shimmering on the water's surface. This is a habitat for water birds such as herons and cormorants, and also a place where fishermen row flat-bottomed boats gliding softly across the lake. Along the lakeshore, the village of Gjirokaster preserves the most authentic identity of this waterside region. Old houses line up along a quiet promenade where restaurants serve freshwater fish, a traditional specialty of the local community. As evening falls, the lakeside walkway becomes lively with families and the elderly strolling slowly under the pine trees, creating the gentle rhythm characteristic of the lake region. Looking further upward, the ruins of Vjosa Castle appear, watching over the entire landscape. Its presence recalls the ancient roots of this territory, where history, nature, and everyday life blend in a silent yet deeply meaningful setting. Thank you for joining this journey to explore the beautiful regions of Albania. Each destination you have just passed carries its own story, and we truly appreciate that you took the time to experience this video in full. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next adventures. Your support is the greatest motivation for us to continue bringing new and inspiring journeys. See you in the next episode, where we will step into another land with new landscapes, history, and stories waiting ahead. Once again, thank you sincerely for choosing to accompany this channel